Hello, 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 beloveds. Welcome to, this is Glenda Carlin Bussick. Welcome to my weekly Tuesday night Zoom Course in Miracles and Dzogchen Buddhism meeting. Thank you for those coming out. Holy God Joanne, Holy God Lynn, Holy God Angela, Holy God Terry, Holy God Debbie, Holy God Corrine, Holy God Barbie, Holy Gods. Each of you, Holy God, Glenda, and Barbie, who's trying to get back in. And I invite in Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, enlightened beings, ascended masters. We know you're here. You've always here, but we invite you in to help give me insights, what to say, and help give insights to those that are here and those that watch the video later that can help them awaken up from this illusionary life, this illusionary life where we've forgotten that we're holy Christ, holy Buddhas, holy gods. Thank you for being here. What I tried to do here, I sat in my chair and then I came and searched the Course of Miracles for the word tired and weary, to add to this teaching that I composed last Friday or Saturday, but it's still evolving. This, here comes Barbie back trying to get back in. It's evolving, and it's going to evolve as I talk tonight, and it'll mature, percolate, stabilize, because that's what happens with each of you as you contemplate these truths, meditate, ask Holy Spirit to help you. Then your path, your practice gets refined. And then as you learn something, then it stabilizes you. You live that, and then you're guided the next truth, and you're integrating these truths into your daily life. That's what happens. But I'm here, it came to me, what I'm here to do is to help save you time. That's what Holy Spirit told me in the awakening, because I can explain what's happening to me and things that I've tried that didn't quite work. Like tonight, I'm going to explain something didn't quite work. How I knew it wasn't working. I was tired. And the bottom line is, in Buddhism, it's called beyond action and inaction, the sublime Dharma is achieved. Now, Dharma means truth, something like that. That's a paraphrase for Buddha. Now, what the hell does between action and inaction mean? I mean, I've heard that for a few years since Dzogchen, the Holy Spirit brought Dzogchen to me in 2019, October of 2019. And what I'm going to explain tonight explains it. So just stay tuned. So as you all know, I am renovating this new condo. I sold my house. First, that was a whole big deal. Sorting, cleaning, boxing, renovating, getting it on the market, selling, and sold within 3 weeks of having it being listed for the total price less $1,000. That's because it was a reasonable price. I didn't, the price was right. Holy Spirit worked through that real estate agent, and I agreed. I sat with it and agreed. But then, meantime, I bought this condo, so I was able to transition from a house into the condo as I renovated the house. But as all that occurred, I had multitudes of lists, and I was cleaning and sorting. And now, hi, Miss Barbie, you made it back. Thank you so much for trying and coming back in. We talked about, just mute yourself, that with the internet is different in every area. And like a few weeks back, the internet knocked me out of the meeting. I had to come back in. So no worries, you guys. This is just part of the practice. This is living our life, going with the flow without getting agitated, crazed, nuts about something. You just lean back, take some deep breaths, and do the best we can and adapt and go again. But anyway, this whole thing, I got to practice A Course in Miracles and Dzogchen. And of course, integrate it as I was making lists, working with all the subs, packing and carrying on, you know, all those things. I won't go into it all, but it brought me to another level because I was giving up, letting go of memories, all those things I was packing or giving to Goodwill or whatever I was doing at my house and bringing here, etc. I knew what was happening, so I consciously would look at the items and practice advanced forgiveness, looking past the item to the spirit that's there of the person or event, because that's the purpose of everything. There's Gonzalo, just mute, is, and I said a while ago, the internet's kind of acting up, so if I lose you, I'll be back. Don't give up on me. So what I do is what Holy Spirit told me. The purpose is I'm to help save you all time in the awakening by me sharing what I'm doing. And then, of course, you sit with it, you investigate it, you check it out and see if it works for you. Because don't take any of this just because I'm saying it, or Buddha said it, or Jesus says it. You got to sit with it and let it mesh in you, percolate in you. And then what happens, the truths that talk to you they surface, and what's happened to me is these core truths surface where I no longer have to read volumes of information. The core truth is there that percolates and I sit with. But here is what happens is I read a few posts of A Course in Miracles and Dzogchen Buddhism, and some posts are Zen, some posts are Dzogchen, some posts are Lama Surya Das, some posts are A Course in Miracles. But there's certain ones that touch me, and I go, oh yeah, it either defines what I'm trying to do. Holy Spirit's talking to me about something, I'm trying to do something, and then this refines it. So what showed up were two posts that Lama Surya Das had, May 21st, and then a follow-up one, May 23rd. And my teaching topic tonight, so what I see that I'm trying to do, this is what came to me too, is I didn't really get what awakening meant in that whole Course in Miracles or Dzogchen. I didn't really get what is this going to mean? What it means is we're learning to integrate these truths into our daily life so that we're living this life in the physical form, integrated in our higher God nature as we live here. So our body, mind, natural breath, natural body, natural heart, mind, the heart, mind, that all is goes to our naturalness of Christ, Buddha, our God nature. That all opens up. It all opens up to the naturalness of our true state, our Christ, Buddha, God nature. And then where we can see, we see, and that I didn't ever really know Christ vision, Buddha vision, what the hell that meant, is first you get glimpses of this clear light, and where you feel and you experience, oh yeah, that's God spaciousness, that's God Christ vision, Buddha vision. But then where do these physical objects fit in? And as I look back on my awakening, is I had them separate. There's the projections just in the light, and then there's the clear light. I hadn't had them intermingled or meshed yet. And we each do the phases that are appropriate for us. Welcome, Joan. Welcome. Please mute. Welcome. So what I'm talking about here is the commingling or integration of your daily life, standing, sitting in these chairs, walking, singing, eating, drinking, sex, whatever the hell it all is are we awake and alert to what we're doing while we're doing it? Or because we've been sleepwalking, we've been asleep, just rote eating, rote cooking, rote going to the grocery store, just robots, just blah, 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 blah. Not awake and alert, not awake and alert, meaning if I pick up this cup, I'm alert, my hand's on this cup. Glenda's picking up this cup. Glenda's gonna drink this liquid later. Glenda's talking right now. That's the moment. I'm in the moment. I never knew what the hell that meant either, a holy instance or a moment. That's why it's mindfulness. That's why I'm asking you to just be mindful when you're that week I had the 16 things to be mindful of. One is when I walk from one room to the other and cross a threshold, I stop and I'll even like bow, because in that spacious space, I know God presence is there, holiness is there, and I just bow and greet it in a holy, revered way. And it changes how my heart feels. It changes how my mind thinks. And then every time I cross that threshold, oh yeah, God's presence is here. I'm standing in God's presence. I'm walking in God's presence. I'm not kidding you. What you're developing is cultivating is being mindful of what you're doing while you're doing it. And I never thought, well, what the hell is this going to, oh, got to mute somebody, is what's this going to culminate in? What it culminates in is called original wakefulness. I'm going to say it again. Original wakefulness. Now, what's that mean? Original wakefulness. So in the beginningless, it's called beginningless beginning. When the heck the Big Bang occurred, or whatever you want to think about, when the physical world, the Son of God made the physical world from the point of holiness and just made the physical world, Garden of Eden. When he created and made the Garden of Eden, he was awake. The Son of God was awake. He knew he was God light, was animating his form. His God mind could create mountains and greenery and forms and everything, projections. He created them, he made them, made the Garden of Eden. But he was awake. That's called original. The original goodness, not the original sin. That's a key deal. The original goodness is the Garden of Eden. The children knew they were God, animating all these forms, playing with all these the spirit was inside the forms. The spirit, the mind was hearing the birds, seeing the grass, seeing the trees, thinking thoughts of holiness, tasting the fruit, enjoying the sixth sense. Thinking is the sixth sense. Awake and alert to the six senses, enjoying the senses. And the senses, when you just see, just hear, that's what I talked to you about, just see, just hear, just think, without labeling, naming, and judging. That's what the children were doing in the Garden of Eden in the original wakefulness. They hadn't started gluing thoughts together to make judgment paragraphs, judgment sentences that thing is something's wrong with that deal, or good, and labeling duality, good and bad. It was all even, smooth, love. It was just beautiful. So in these posts from this awakened holy man called Tukul Urgyen Rinpoche, here's this post, 521. Because see, what I'm trying to do is mingle the recognition of God essence, clear light essence, with my daily life. That means intermingling, integrating form, all these images with the light of God. I mean, what the heck? Yes, it's all even, it's all in union. It's not separate. Form and emptiness is not separate. They're intermingled because God light is animating every form. It's just we've forgotten. But picture nature, trees, grass, all those things, they haven't forgotten. The light animates through them. They haven't forgotten. It's that as far as I understand, but the human forms, we've forgotten and made that egoic mind of duality, etc. But anyway, so that's what I was trying to do when I read this post. In short, to be able to mingle the recognition of mind essence with daily life is entirely the outcome of training, nothing else. And I think last week I read this because I just read the post, but I hadn't really started trying to practice it yet. Now, see what that I'm able wanting to mingle the recognition of mind essence. That means God, mind essence, with daily life is the outcome of training. And see, that's what Jesus says in Course in Miracles. This is a course in mind training. We're training our mind. We're undoing these illusionary thoughts to remember that and removing obscurations, concepts, judgments, so we can once in a while glimpse the clear light and feel peace, bliss, or just get an experience of this spacious God mind. But anyway, without training, the recognition of mind essence remains a short glimpse that immediately vanishes. Isn't that the truth? You get a moment of recognition of this and it's gone. We may recognize it again, but it always slips away. We always forget. We always get distracted. Our ingrown habit of not recognizing mind essence, reinforced throughout all our past lives, is simply too strong. See, that's what you're doing. It's just beautiful what you're doing. You all recognize there must be a better way, and you're recognizing there's a God mind that you can access. You're choosing. With mind, you have a choice. You're no longer just following, sleepwalking with this egoic thinking. There's ultimately no other solution than the training in the way I constantly mention. Short moments repeated many times. Now, by short moments, don't you love that? Because people kind of get tired about what the hey, the holy instant. I don't know, holy instant. Now. What the heck does that mean? Now. That's getting old to me. So short moments. And I found in the course when I looked for effort and weary, Jesus says something about short moments, short periods. I mean, he put that word in there. Okay, anyway. Whether one sits or whether one walks, the training is essentially the same. Short moments, many times. That means in nanoseconds. A nanosecond is 100 or 1,000th of a second. Just remember to practice and thinking about, leaning back and pick, that the spaciousness is God mind, because we're faking it while you make it. I'm not kidding you. This spaciousness is God clear light mind. Unless we repeat it many times, we never get used to it. It's most important to recognize again and again. As you grow more and more familiar with recognizing mind essence and therefore more and more stable, these moments naturally last longer and longer. The periods of not recognizing will become shorter and shorter, fewer and fewer. The training is reminding yourself is thus crucial until finally there's one continuous, unbroken stretch of original wakefulness that is called the state of complete enlightenment. Until that happens, you need to train again and again, because I never knew what's enlightenment. What enlightenment means, besides all that your light means, is that you've integrated your daily doings with God mind, your own God mind. They're intermingled. They're not separate. Form and emptiness are not separate, only in duality. But in the original Garden of Eden, when we weren't asleep, that's called the original wakefulness, not the original sin. You were awake to what the heck you were. So when I read this, I went, well, look at there. He says to practice, short moments many times. of mingling, the recognition of mind essence with daily life. So here's what I did for 2 days in a row. I would, as often as day and night, and I'd wake up in the night and do it too. I'd carry around, I printed this out and I'd carry it around when I was walking, when I was sitting in my chair, carry it around the kitchen. I'd read parts of it because I'm like we were talking about before I started the recording. Life happens, and unless we commit to that, we want to have a spiritual path, and we leave sticky notes around or we set alarms on our clock. Guess what happens? Ego rules, and he doesn't let you come to these meetings. You forget and whatever, because life happens. So then it's just a matter of priorities. But anyway, so I prioritize this. So as often as I can remember, I would. And then that Dzogchen group I meditate with each day, they've been talking about, Martha's been having this every week or 2 weeks, this reading from a big holy book, and where they're mingling your daily activities with this light, this bright light, this clear light. And so I've been hearing this stuff, mingle, this and mingle. And then I read this post, so I started practicing. So, because see, I can see the clear light. I've awakened to the clear light, but I haven't had awakened to integrating it together for long. Because like this holy Tukul Urgent Rinpoche said, I've had glimpses and they got longer and longer, but they're not that long. I want them longer until it's a continuous, unbroken stretch of original wakefulness. That's called the state of complete enlightenment. Okie doke. Yes, sirree. Which is here now. We're just not aware of it. So as often I could, I would look at an object, and then I'd change my focus to this clear light. So picture that's a couple of seconds in between, see the item, and then I'd look at the light, and then they'd go together. Then the item would be in the light. But then it would be gone. It was a glimpse, right? Well, I did that for about 2 days, and I said to myself, oh, I am tired. I have wearied myself. And see, then I knew. So I sat in my chair and I take some deep breaths in, and on the long out breath, I exhale saying, ah, A-H, ah, because I know that's a primordial seed syllable. That's a primordial sound from the beginningless beginning of that it releases tension and lets you relax into the clear light. It's powerful. I'm going to talk more about that. But anyway, I sat in my chair and I'm going, and I decided to rest, to not practice anymore for a little bit. And then, don't you know, I opened up that Lama Surya Das deal, and that was 521. 523, here's his post from read saying another whole deal from Tukul Urgent Rinpoche, continuing this teaching of this truth of original wakefulness. Here's what this Tukul Urgent Rinpoche said. Let me say this again. What really exhausts, see what I really was, I had exhausted myself, and this was talking right to me. Let me say this again. What really exhausts is a daily, continuous misconception, a mind that's always thinking about and about it, the constant rotation of the vicious wheel. Now, I wasn't quite thinking of these things, but of anger, desire, and stupidity. We are busy with this useless activity around the clock without a break. So I just kept reading. Even after seeing the nature of mind, see, I've seen the nature of mind, and I'm asking you all to look out at this spaciousness and realize that's God mind, etc. Seeing the nature of mind, You can try and tire yourself in trying to be diligent. And see, this is what I was doing. But if you don't make any effort, how can you get tired? See, I was doing a lot of effort. I was being just diligent. But he says, but if you don't make any effort, how can you get tired? We need to destroy the word effort. That's what we get tired of. In the essence of awareness, free from double fixation, what can be created in it? You need to relax as much as possible. All difficulties, picture this, all difficulties arise due to lack of relaxation. And I'm telling you, this is true. All difficulties arise due to lack of relaxation. And if this relaxation doesn't come deep from the inside, we will definitely get tired. Our dual mind gets tired easily. Excuse me. And non-dual awareness is like space. Can space get tired? Ask write that down in your journal. Sit with, can space get tired? Well, I sat with it and the answer is no, because that's God mind, space, this vast like a sky. No corner, no sides, no perimeter, no center, no in or out, vast spaciousness of God mind. The best meditation is stability in non-dual awareness. Okay, so I read that. And when I read that all difficulties arise due to lack of relaxation, then bingo, because I talked to you all about this phrase, breathe, relax, smile. Breathe, relax, smile. That's like a mantra that Lama Surya Das teaches over and over and over. The bless his heart, he teaches this in every teaching he does. Let go means let come and go, let be. And this is relaxation. Relax. So I want to talk about how do you relax? I'm asking you to practice, contemplate this, investigate it, research it, and consider breathe, relax, smile in short moments, many times. Or what was these other posts? Multiple times. Short moments repeated many times throughout the day. So I read that, so I printed that out. So then I was laying in bed. I forget which morning. It could have been that 5:23 or the next morning when I read this. So picture now, when you're laying in bed, you wake up in the morning or maybe before you go to sleep, doesn't matter, or you wake up in the night. Here's what you could practice. I just lay flat on my back. My arms are out straight. And then I just take that breath. Oh, wait, when I'm laying there, I just remember, talk to myself that my body, remember we talking about remembering what you're doing while you're doing it? I'll say Glenda's body is lying in God presence. And it is. Because this body, all our bodies are projections in this clear, vast space that's here now. All around you, around me, this air that seems to be here, that there's air, but in this real world, this is God mind, God spaciousness. So that's what so I'm lying in bed and I'm talking to myself, Glenda's lying in God's presence. And then I take that breath from 2 inches below your navel. You take a deep breath in, and then on the out breath, you say, A-H, ah. And then as you're saying ah, you're laid back in the bed, right? Just look at that ah. Just be with that ah. Ah. If you just be with the ah, what'll happen, you're relaxing. It lets go of thoughts. That AH syllable lets go of thoughts in the body and the form it releases you from these thoughts and the form, and you're relaxing into that clear light. You just practice this. You're just laying back and and you'll even feel that you kind of, that kind of extends out. And what that means is it's extending out every cell and pore. That sound is a primordial mantra, a sweet sound, a vibration. It goes through your heart, your mind. If you surrender, just surrender and relax to letting that sound go all from the inside. It's coming out, it's going all out through your form, because the form is a projection, an armor, a wall that we've set up between us and this clear light of God mind that's here right now. It's here right now. So I'm wanting you to just relax into that clear light, and you'll get a glimpse of this holiness, this peace. And that's called nowness awareness, because another big characteristic of being aware of what you're doing while you're doing it is you become mindful of the now. Every time you come back, what am I doing? Oh, I'm standing here, but I'm standing here in God's presence. And then in just a second, you just kind of, and then if I want you to remember to breathe and go, while you're standing there, that relaxes your form. And then that inside light, that inside sound, it just merges out your cells, and it just joins, it merges. I'm not kidding you, with this spaciousness, this God mind, this essence, presence of God, this invisible God light that's here. And you're doing this in short moments many times throughout the day and night. But it's not an effort. That's the thing I want you to do. It's not an effort. It's not an effort because you're using your sound, breath, to let go. That's a non-effort. Now, that's what's between effort and non-effort, or between action and no action. That's what's come to me. What that means is that just that's the simplest letting go without effort, without action. You just and you've let go. And then zap, it's within a nanosecond. So you're not having to use this huge amount of effort other than to remember. That's why you have sticky notes, and you're worth remembering. This can save you years of work, but also years of wearying yourself, tiring yourself, because we got to rest our weary heart and mind. So when I'm laying there in bed and that sound, you usually do it 3 times in a row. That on the in my email I wrote about, I just follow the and then when I no longer say I just keep my attention where the sound was, and it goes into no sound. But the no sound, it's merging, connecting, and dissolving into this clear light that's here. I'm not kidding. And somewhere in what I found tonight, Jesus, when I was doing weary and tired, page 2, Jesus says, is this can be, it's no effort and instantaneous. See, what I'm wanting to do is have you experience some instantaneous. It's really, you've never been apart. It's hard to join when you're not separate, except we think we're separate. So I'm just giving you a little trick. here to kind of dissolve and connect and dissolve with this no sound or space. It's called also space mingling. But this space is God mind. We're walking around in God's mind. Now, this is far out, you guys. This is far out. I never understood this. This revelation or understanding has just come in the last few weeks. I could kind of talk about projections, but I never really integrated daily life with God mind. But we're standing in it, we're sitting in it, we're walking in it, we're eating in it, there's only God's mind. The whole solar system is in God's mind. That solar system, Earth, all the planets, that's the Garden of Eden that was created at the Big Bang. Just wham, just made all these objects to play with. And somewhere when Jesus says these toys, I found that too. And oh man, I got these notes. Let's see. Where's the toys? I love that part where Jesus talks about these are toys. Want original wakefulness, no effort. Here, the wearying, dissatisfying gods you made are blown up children's toys. That's chapter 30, IV-2. A child is frightened when a wooden head springs up as a closed box is opened suddenly, or when a soft and silent woolly bear begins to squeak as he takes hold of it. What we've done in the Garden of Eden, we made toys to play with. We animated them. We were inside them with feeling what it felt like to eat and hear things from inside a form. We were playing with it. What it felt like to be inside a form. We were just having fun till we fell asleep and thought we were a form. But these are children's toys, Jesus tell you. Blown up. Well, they're blown up because they're animated by God light. That's the deal. But we don't have to be afraid anymore because you're waking up to what these projections are. Now, I wanted to get to the part that said is instantaneous. This is in chapter 14, IV-6. Then you have learned how to decide with God. There's no effort, and you will be led as gently as if you were being carried down a quiet path in summer. Now, what I just described to you, now to me, that's a quiet path in summer. Just lean back, picture you're laying down in a quiet green path under a shade tree, and you just take that deep breath, and on the out breath go ah, and let that sound go out all your cells, and just relax, just relax, and you just relax. And if you follow that ah to the no sound, I'm not kidding you, it'll connect and mingle with God mind. And you join, you're in union for moments. And these moments, like that holy Tuko Rinpoche says, they get longer and longer and longer till they stabilize into one continuous, unbroken, original wakefulness. Remember that, and it's not original sin, it's original innocence, original wakefulness. When I read those two words, I said, oh, wow, that's what the Garden of Eden was. Original wakefulness. You got to mute, Julia. Original wakefulness. We were awake and alert and mindful. We knew what everything was. We were playing with the toys. We were in a sandbox playing with everything. Everything's great. Well, you're waking back up to that. Now, it doesn't mean you can't set boundaries. We're not psychological doormats, physical doormats to anything. We visit the doctor, acupuncture. We take on gurus, whatever we need to do to help us integrate, keep this battered vehicles going while we wake up from this mirage or hallucination that we've ever been separate, incomplete, or apart from God, our brothers, and ourselves, our true nature. Okay, let's see what it is. Only your own volition seems to make deciding hard. The Holy Spirit will not delay in answering your every question. And you who are tired will find this more restful than sleep. How easily the gates are opened from within. See, now that's what I'm wanting to do, is open the gate from within. So see, you're laying there flat, let's practice. You're opening the gate from within. Ah. If you follow that sound, it'll go through your cells, through your skin, out and into this space. This space is God's mind. I'm not kidding you. This awakening is now available, not in another lifetime, but these are practices you can do to have glimpses and then stabilize the glimpses, well, along with your other work, whatever you're doing. But these, with you want to consider, if you can, and if you can afford it, and it makes sense to you, to take on you check them out, an enlightened guru, because enlightened, they have developed their powers where they can see through walls, they can see your past lifetimes, they can see what little clogs and plugs that are holding you back from waking the heck up. They can transmit light and truths to you and give you truths that they're called pithy instructions that can just zero right in to what's needed for you to break through. Are you worth this or not? You know, besides setting up a daily spiritual practice, are you worth this or not? Or are you just talking words here without a practice and integration of these truths within you? But anyway, it's an ancient door that's swinging free from within you. There's an ancient door that can swing free, and that door is this body, this closed off mind. Just see that door swings, and then your light, that sound, vibration just moves on out. And what it does, it's opening up these cells and pores. It's moving, it's helping you get more familiar with your true nature, which is spaciousness, clear light, not these thick shells. You'll feel lighter, you'll feel smoother, even more even, and not as erratic, etc. Now I'm going to look through my notes here because you rest within the peace. Now, what I'm asking them, see, that's rest. When you rest, he says here, every 5 minutes you rest a day. The world is nearer waking. Everything you do helps the whole world. And the time when rest will be the only thing that comes closer to all worn and tired minds, too weary now to go their way alone, because people will be drawn to you about any little truths that you say to them. We're not missionaries or anything, but you never know what truth might be able to help somebody. Now let's see what the other pages are here. Oh, now see, what we're also doing is, here's where the places he talks about just relax. So then when I saw those two posts about Tuko Urgent Rinpoche, relaxation, what was the, all difficulties arise due to lack of relaxation. And I have to say, after all my learning, I agree with that. Because just sense when you get argumentative or get upset about something, you just tighten all up. Your shell's tight, your mind's tight, your feelings are tight. So you just relax, relaxation. That's why Jesus said in Course in Miracles, we use our feelings to tell us which voice we've been listening to. If we're anything but, peaceful or whatever, happy, etc., then we need to relax, breathe, smile, and relax. Oh, so the other day I was working with a subcontractor because, see, my kitchen's getting remodeled here in the condo and needs some drywall work. And I always ask Holy Spirit, now help me get along with this person, communicate what I need done in my kitchen. And when the sub got here, I realized we were not communicating. He was jumping right to something. He wasn't seeing the big picture and et cetera, et cetera. And I was quietly asking Holy Spirit to help me. But first I had to recognize that, oh, this is not communicating. Because I could have been right in there with him, arguing or in my own way, no, here's what, no, here's what I need, and blah, blah, blah. The tone would have been different. But then when I asked and I relaxed, I'm not kidding you, I relaxed. But more than that, I recognized it was hard to relax. And I remembered breathe, smile, and relax. I'm not kidding. This is going like this because I'm practicing. I am practicing. Smile. And I say to you all this, if you can't smile outwardly, smile inwardly. And I couldn't smile outwardly. I did not feel like it. We were not communicating. But I paused and I smiled inwardly. I'm not kidding you. I put a smile on my face inwardly. And what happens is you get these, I don't know neuroscience, but you get endorphins. You get a whole different feeling. It's love, loving feelings come. So breathe, smile, and relax. Then you're relaxed, and that Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, or your higher nature can talk to you. You get a thought. It's that simple. And the thought came how to explain something. Oh, look, let me show you. Here's right over here, and then I just walked him through it. And I said to him, let's pause here. We're not communicating, I told him. Let's pause and start again. I'm not kidding you. This is living this way in our daily life. But so breathe, smile, and relax is huge because it changes what you think and how you feel. And then I realized, I go, oh, he's God. There's God working in my kitchen. There's another God I'm God walking around here. I'm not kidding you. It changes how I felt. What are these images versus seeing them as separate forms, or I like that one and I don't like that one, or oh, the thought ego even had me said, oh man, I don't know if this guy knows how to do drywall work or not. I mean, I was about ready to have him, why don't you just stop? But he knew how to do drywall work. It just, we were off on the wrong foot right off the bat. But ego wanted that. The thought came, I could walk him right out the door. But no, that didn't, we've been around each other for years. He's helped me for years. But ego never stops wanting to argue and have disagreements and not getting along, etc. But anyway, so what I wanted to, that was in practice. So that was conscious. It's possible to reach a state in which you bring your mind under my guidance without conscious effort. But see, I did have to have a little conscious effort. Holy Spirit, help me. I had to sense this is not going right. But see, in years ago, I would not have even opened the door to that thought. I would have walked that guy out the door, and I would have yelled at him as I took him out the door. I'm not kidding. So this gets easier and easier and easier not to listen to ego and to remember, oh yeah, relax, smile, But Jesus, and I'm here to say this gets easier. It does get easier but you got to practice. You got to practice or it won't get easier. Then here's what where was that? That's chapter 2, VI, paragraph 6. Then here's the next one. Holy Spirit will enable you to take a step. This is called the third step. Oh, wait, I'll start. The third step then is a statement of what you want to believe. So what do you want to believe? And it tells a willingness to relinquish everything else. So what I'm asking you to do, here you go, relinquish everything else. This can cut through years of work. Just forget everything. Just lean back in your bed, lay flat in your bed during the day some point. Breathe and take that breath in and exhale and relax and join with that spacious light that's here now. It will transform your life because it's right here, right now. Instantaneous. Doesn't take years of work. Just practice now. Okay, but anyway, that's the relinquishment of everything else. The Holy Spirit will enable you to take this step, which is what I'm asking you to do. But it doesn't mean we walk out in front of a car. We still keep our mind to us. And I visit the doctor, and like I'm going for my hearing aid to get tested here tomorrow. So to get my teeth cleaned on Thursday. I mean, I'm just keeping that battered vehicle going while I practice thinking of all these people as God that I'm driving or in the hearing aid place or the dentist. You know, that's the practice. The Holy Spirit will enable you to take this step of relinquishing everything else if you follow him. Your vigilance is a sign that you want him to guide you. Vigilance does require effort, but only until you learn that effort itself is unnecessary. You have exerted great effort to preserve what you made because it was not true. Therefore, you must now turn your effort against it. Only this can cancel out the need for effort. We're canceling out the effort of all that egoic stuff. And by doing that, letting go into this clear light, you're letting go of effort. You're relaxing. Only this can cancel out the need for effort and call upon the being, B-E-I-N-G, which you both have and are. This recognition is wholly without effort, since it is already true and needs no protection. This is page 1. It is in the perfect safety of God. Therefore, inclusion is total and creation is without limit. That's chapter 6, section 5, C.10. Now that's worth repeating. This whole thing came about because of those 2 posts from that Toku Urgent Rinpoche. Well, first I was exerting big effort, looking at every object, then looking at the clear light, seeing that they're conjoined, that they're intermingled, but that just wore me out. Because granted, that might be one step you do, I don't know. But the thing is, if you lean back and relax, breathe, smile, and relax, and feel that how your inner light then just oozes out through those cells, and it's joining, it's never been separate of that other spacious light that's there. That's the joining, the union with God's source that's here now. And you're just glimpsing it short moments many times, instead of making the effort to do these ego things. You're letting go, relinquishing everything else. Oh, and then that's when I go back to this just seeing, just hearing, just feeling, just touching, just thinking, all the 6 senses, being mindful when you hear a sound, and then being aware how egoic mind starts judging it, naming it, and gluing thoughts together to make a whole paragraph identifying what the hell the sound was or what the sight was. It's just instantaneous, a whole paragraph. Like when I go for my walk and walk from here over to the lake, there's mailboxes and broken sidewalks. And I'll watch ego start to tear apart a broken sidewalk. That's where there's the oak tree growing its roots. It's breaking up the sidewalk. Ego wants to start tearing up that neighbor. Like, why don't they go fix their sidewalk? They could tear this up and blah, 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 blah. No. I'm aware and mindful and just seeing the broken sidewalk, and I'm just hearing my footsteps walk on the sidewalk, hearing the bird sound, seeing the oak tree, seeing the green grass, seeing the mailbox, seeing the person show up. So when they show up, I know them, then we start talking, spontaneous talking. And then I'm laughing or whatever I'm doing with them. Because what I'm talking about here is not being a mummy or being a bump on a log, just sitting meditated in a straight old calm state of a fabricated state that we think is the right meditation of being in this state. That's just a fabricated state. The purpose of meditation is become aware of this, how the mind works, and that it's constantly wanting to go off and attach with thoughts. That's not letting a thought come and go, which is what I'm talking about here, letting thoughts come and go, seeing the thoughts, letting them come and go, seeing the sights, seeing the hearing, seeing the smell, seeing the sounds, all those things, that all the six senses, those are stimuli that are happening. That's why we created and projected the Garden of Eden. We wanted to experience being in these forms, these sensations, but then we fell asleep, and then we're at the mercy of, oh, I heard a bird, then I'm gonna go decide the type bird it is, and it's the wrong color. Why is that bird that color? Oh, its feet look a little different today, or why? It just goes on, putting gluing. It's gluing thoughts together to make a paragraph of judgment about that bird. And when I'm thinking about that, I can't be hearing the whole symphony of sights, sounds that are going on, that you then can, that you hear the car traffic, then there's an ambulance, then there's a regular car or a truck. You're going spontaneously from thing to thing. A person shows up, you're enjoying them. You might lean back and remember their God when you're talking to them, or if not, when they leave, you remember their God as you walk on. We're not bumps on logs, because we're learning to integrate being in the form with God light. That I never knew this is what awakening and enlightenment meant. Where you can live in this. This is the Garden of Eden. This is nirvana. This is heaven. Even though there's these other things going on, it's not what happens to us that matters. It's what we do with what shows up in front of our face. Oh, and so when you're letting these thoughts come and go, that's what we learn to do in meditation. Let the sights come and go, the sounds come and go. Guess what? That's God mind. That was the original wakefulness. We weren't clogging up the mind with holding, attachment, and aversion, and judging all these things, sensations, to glue up our mind, set up walls, make shells of separation between us and the bird. Because I've labeled the bird, then I've set up a layer of judgment in my mind. These thoughts become layers of hard layers of thoughts and judgments. And as you let go of them, you're thinning these layers of hard judgments, and your skin and the armor of the body is lessened and lessened as an armor, as walls, as that's separating you and all these different images. Then there's the karma. Then a holy person was asked, what about karma? What about when you awaken, what happens about karma? And I'm not doing justice to this thing, but this holy person says, I'm one with karma. Now, what in the heck does that mean? That means whatever shows up, I'm not judging it. I'm letting it come and go. And I got to put a message here. Can't talk now. See, spontaneously present. I'm not clogging up my mind with these thoughts and judgments. I'm letting things come and go, because when the mind is allowed to be free, then that's the original wakefulness. That's how you live. But then you become totally aware when you've grabbed onto something. When I've attached to something, I go, oh, wow. Or when I push something away, like about a politician, I go, whoops. So then I let go. Let go means let come and go, and let be, and recognize the spirit that animates that form. Because we still will have attachment and aversions, because the ego's never going to stop talking. It's whether I'm awake and aware of when I've attached onto this stuff. And how you can feel attachment is like, picture it's a rope where you have these thoughts and feelings, and you grab onto something attached to it, then the rope is stopped, right? But guess what? The rope or the flow of the God light, it's wanting to come and go, because it's flowing. It's a prana, it's an energy, it's a light. I grab onto a thought and then it's called rope burn. But really what happens, you feel it. You feel suffering and misery because I've attached to something. I want it. I want it. Now I got an expectation and all that stuff that goes on. So then it's rope burn. It's then you let go. It's a really beautiful process of awakening. You're aware I attach to something and you let go. Let come and go. And then as soon as I can, I remember I was attached to something and think of them as God. I love you. I love you. I love you to the person or thing I was attached to. It's a beautiful way of living because we're waking up from this, that we're separate from all these forms. We're not separate from all these forms. The light, the God mind light, the light and love of God is animating every form. We're just not aware of it, but it's streaming through it, everything, or it wouldn't be alive. It wouldn't be walking around alive, so to speak. Eternity is the only thing that's really real for, infinity, for the absolute. But in duality, when we awaken, there's this flow of light and energy is coming and going from all things. In all things, we're continuous. That's the one continuous, unbroken, original wakefulness. This light and energy is going through everything. That's why in my email, I wrote about the four isnesses, I-S-N-E-S, is. I love that word. Is mean multiple ises, I-S, is. There's four of them in Buddhism. They're called the four flops or the four is. Leave it as it is. That's really cool. Leave it as it is. Because see, in this God mind, when we let thoughts come and go, sounds, sights, we're leaving it as it is, right? Leave it as it is. And things are coming and going. And how do you get that view? You get that view with meditation, daily meditation. And like Jesus says in the Course of Miracles, just do a meditation for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4. Then he says 10, then Jesus says 15, then he says 30, then he says an hour. Then he says, you'll find that an hour is too little to give to be with God. Because you will then move into what's called unmeditation, which is what I've been talking about tonight, non-meditation, which means when you're off the meditation cushion, you've learned what I'm just describing, to be aware of letting these thoughts come and go in your mind. And when you're off the cushion, you're letting thoughts come and go. And you're standing, sitting, lying down, eating. In non-meditation, you're awake and aware. But it's all meditation then. It's all being with God then. That's why I'm talking to you about integrating, mingling daily doings with God presence. But anyway, back to the four is. The view is the first one. And the view is ultimately 3 in 1. That's the whole thing that you're cultivating, is the view, which is this clear light, God mind, this spaciousness that's here with all these objects, projections that are in it. If you, how this looks is, it's just like everyday life. If you look out in the room where you're at or where I'm at, there's my form, there's the printer over here, there's a Buddha statue, and then there's a Jesus statue in my bedroom, is flowers. Each of these are projections, but this whole thing is God mind. I'm not kidding. This is the original wakefulness. That's what you come to, and that's non-meditation, where you're awake and aware of what you're doing while you're doing it, and you're aware you're doing it in God's presence, because there's only God mind. But anyway, the view is like the sky. Vast, spacious, without side, center, periphery, edges. It's just everywhere. There's no end to it. Leave it as it is. Meditation like a mountain, like a tripod, a pyramid. A mountain is imperturbable as to what grows on it. Just leave it as it is. Then action, that means during the day, we're not bumps on logs. You're going to have action. You're going to make decisions. That just the way it is. But they're going to be ceaseless like ocean waves. The ocean bed never leaves its bed. There's that many, but the waves, they just come and go. Their actions unceasingly like waves in the ocean. And then um, result, the result or fruit is this clear light mind. It's called Rigpa, clear light, spacious mind. But really, the result or fruit is the view, because you're cultivating the view of how you live your daily life, seeing God here now. But you can do this or you wouldn't be hearing me talk like this. The only reason I know this is called awareness itself. You're developing panoramic awareness, awakened awareness versus ordinary awareness. Ordinary awareness just sees separate little objects, just separate little chairs, separate little laptop, separate little room, separate, everything's separate. That's ordinary awareness. When you lean back off of separate objects and asking the Holy Spirit to help you see the big picture, the big view, the spacious like a sky. And that's why I keep asking you to meditate daily with a group, because their synergy happens. And without meditation throughout the whole course, I forget those 10 or 12 words that Jesus uses to describe meditation, because he knew he couldn't say the word meditation because people would be opposed to it. So he would say it in different ways. That's how you develop the view that you then incorporate into your daily life. So, okay, so now I'm going to stop, man, and open up to any thoughts or comments. The recording's still going on. If anyone's got a thought or comment, people like hearing what you got to say before I stop the recording. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and before that, then we just look around at every tile, and there's Gonzalo. Just look around at every tile right now. It's God Barbie, God Glenda, God Gonzalo, God Joan, God Angela, God Joanne, God Cherry, God Susan, God Debbie, God Lynn had to leave, God Julia, God Corrine, God Glenda. That's that simple. Okay, Gonzalo, thank you for coming out, Gonzalo.
Thank you. Happy to see everybody. Yeah, finally made it tonight. I'm off this week, so I'm happy I didn't get tied up. Tuesday night I've been working late, so that's why it's been kind of hard to make it
We've
on.
missed you, Gonzalo.
Yeah, I missed you guys. I don't like to rush, so when I get home it's like 7-ish, and I'm like, I don't wanna be frantic. So I'd rather be mindful and grounded in here when I'm on. So, but thank you for still being here. So everything you were sharing about, you were saying earlier about how, our mind wants to justify why these truths are bullshit. Our mind will come up with reasons like, come on, man, here now, present mind, God mind, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Yeah, you got bills to pay, you got real life bills and responsibilities, and you got things to tend to. And nowhere in the Course in Miracles, and I imagine nowhere in Buddhist teachings do they say to deny our experience. They don't say sit up there
Right.
and just deny what's going on. No, nowhere.
That's
And this is
that's
where
what I'm
people go off.
asking you. Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
denying it. We're integrating it, but go ahead.
Yeah, this is where people go off. The world will witness, oh, you're in denial, and and yeah, there's a lot of that. We have to go through that stage of wanting the truth so bad to where we're in denial about all of the stuff that we haven't wanted to unearth and look at. That's a stage. We do have to confront denial. But further, the Course in Miracles, and as far as I know, Buddhist teachers do not say ever to deny our human experience. They're saying to
Yes,
use it as a bridge,
yes,
use it as
yes.
a ladder, use it as a stepping stone to move into our natural state of God awareness. And that's important to get. And so, like you were saying earlier, it'll come up with a lot of justification. Well, you mean to tell me that I'm supposed to look at this situation, look at this world, look at the war, and look at all this shit in the world, and supposed to see God there, that God created up, and so it'll come up with reasons, and all the while we're delaying ourselves further, grounding ourselves further in darkness. We're justifying living in darkness further, further. Another moment in darkness, another moment in dark, another reason, another excuse to stay exactly where we are. And this is what the mind does. It's a master of distraction and delay. And we have to push through that. And there is effort involved. You know, it'll feel tiring at first, but there is effort in getting through that resistance because there's so much worldly egoic mind resistance to just practicing the truth and just opening up space in our minds in our day for saying, okay, I'm gonna use my imagination not to be a slave to it anymore. I'm gonna use that imagination to imagine this God light is embracing us all. And just that alone starts to loosen the chains, you know. But to get to that point of being willing to even hear that, it takes a good bit of digging through the mounds of excuses that the world has implanted in our minds to accumulate to not practice the truth, you know. So that's an important point, that we're never ever being asked to deny our experience.
Exactly. Yes, we're not. Oh no, because that's what even makes the separation seem even more dense, is to deny feelings and thoughts. I'm saying to let thoughts and feelings come and go, let them be, without denying and repressing, because as we awaken, part of the process is these feelings and thoughts we've denied will unsurface from the unconscious mind. So then you can journal them and you ask Holy Spirit to help you. Some people might need psychotherapy. I don't know what all's needed, because there's people have had some horrific lives in this illusionary form. So we're not denying that, but yet I don't want to deny that. That's freedom, is to let those things come and go, but let them be, and learn to ultimately let things come and go. And then you'll respond, but being able to pause and count to 3 or 10 before we react and respond through this loving, compassionate, empathetic way, that virtuous way that develops opposite of how I lived before, right? You develop a loving nature because you see the ignorance of how people don't know what's going on, how attachment and aversion, I want and I don't want, affects all this, and repressing things and denying things. But we don't waller in this unless there's something that really needed with psychotherapy. That can be needed, but we got to be careful. We don't need, may not need psychotherapy for 5 years, because then ego just keeps playing that deal too, you know. But anyway.
So yeah, so true. And so that's, you know, that's what we're up against. That's what we have to work through. And I wanted to share a movie and a book that I saw last night. It's called Origin. I'll type the info. I just was led to watch this movie, and I'm really glad I did. So this author, Isabel Wilkerson, she writes this book in 2020 called CAST, C-A-S-T, like CAST, class system, you know.
Oh yeah.
And so she tied together sort of the structural belief system that was programmed and promoted during Nazi Germany, in India, where the caste system today is still very strong, and in the United States with slavery, and it was magnificent. I immediately thought that the deeper element was how dark our God-given minds can get when it wants to control, and it wants power, and it wants to feel special. So it creates an inferior class and a superior class, and then it starts to harness in very dark ways power and manipulation through these ideas of, oh, you can be more special if you're a part of this class, but you have to, as part of the deal of being more special, you need to look down upon and attack a lower class and oppress the lower class. It was absolutely, if you look at it from a spiritual lens, I thought it was amazingly well done. Didn't get a lot of publicity, this movie, for a lot of obvious reasons. But anyway, I just wanted to share if you're moved to. I thought it was fantastic. I'm gonna there's a book obviously with much more expose called Cast, but the movie just gave some insight into a really how dark our minds can go to in an attempt to control and oppress and be special.
Oh, indeed, because that's part of this denial where we don't want to look at any of these dark things that we've separated other races out of our mind as equal. And that'll come up, and then we look at it if that's occurred. Because yeah, it can be race, it can be gender, it can be all kinds of things that ego's playing up. But thank you, Gonzalo. Thank you.
Thank you all.
We're not denying these things, but yet we don't waller in them either. Yes, Corrine. Thank you, Gonzalo. Yes,
Oh,
Corrine.
I just wanted to I have listened to the audiobook of Cast and yes, I have also seen Origin, and both are excellent, and Origin is trying to be a more emotional thing than the book. But yeah, I mean, 'cause there's either power over or power from within, and the course is all about recognizing the power from within, right? We are all sons of God, and so um that's how that works. But if you got to stand on top of somebody, you got to have a way to do that. So you got to design the system that says I'm better because you're less, because everybody wants to feel good about themselves.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're what now in Dzogchen, it's called Treched, Trecchod, something like that, which is seeing through, being through. Where what I'm teaching is we see through that judgment, that real quick, instead of gluing more thoughts together to either talk about how horrible that is, which is aversion, or gluing thoughts together to, oh yeah, parts of that sounds okay. That
Right.
we see through it to the holiness, the equality, which is Jesus and Buddha are teaching of everything in
Right.
spirit. In spirit,
Yes.
yes. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
But we just see through it, and we don't have to we just see through it and go on.
Yep.
Very good, Kareem. Very good. Anything else before we go?
No,
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to comment before I shut down the recording? Okay. Thank you for coming out tonight, you sweeties. Thank you. I sure appreciate it. Okay, we're going to stop the recording.